The Australian joins the U.S. military in occupying Balabac Airstrip, which is closer to China base. The potential of clashes in the South China Sea between China and neighbors, such as the Philippines, provoking a military response by the U.S. and Australia. China claims virtually the entire strategic waterway, but the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan have also pressed their separate claims. For the past 20 years, China has occupied a number of obscure reefs and atolls far from its shoreline across the South China Sea, building up military installations, including runways and ports. The 3 million square kilometer waterway is vital to international trade, with an estimated third of global shipping worth trillions of dollars passing through each year. The final weeks of 2023 saw heated standoffs between Chinese and Philippines Coast Guard vessels, including a Chinese vessel using a water cannon against a Philippines resupply ship. There's a high chance of bringing in the Americans through their alliance with the Philippines. It also directly affects Australia because Australia has strong interests in the South China Sea, has been increasing defense cooperation with the Philippines. While China may renew its intense military exercises involving its naval and air forces around Taiwan, Australia believes it will pull back from direct armed action. Australia don't think China will try military provocation intentionally with Taiwan because it knows it is very likely to draw an American response. Meanwhile, the construction and development of the site for the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, EDCA, in Balabac, southern Palawan, is progressing smoothly and by plan, as reported by military officials in the Philippines. The project, which is located on a 300-hectare piece of land in Barangay Catagupan, started after the ratification of the expanded EDCA in 2023, adding 4 additional sites throughout the country. The agreement was signed by the Philippines and United States governments in connection with a mutual defense agreement, in which the two countries will engage and collaborate in training, disaster relief and assistance, and military modernization goals. Western Command, WESCOM, Chief Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos stated that the project is progressing seamlessly, with additional funding set to be released next year. He emphasized the project's importance to the AFP due to its strategic location, being close to the West Philippine Sea. The project is still ongoing, but it will take about 3 to 4 more years for it to become operational, Carlos said in an interview with Palawan News. During a visit to the project site last Thursday, Tactical Operations Wing West, TOE West, Deputy Wing Commander Colonel Richard Ramos also confirmed that the project is on schedule, particularly with the construction of the 3-kilometer runway and the clearing for the construction of the command centers. We visited the site to inspect the construction of the runway and other developments, and so far it has been conforming with the timeline, Ramos said. During the visit, Ramos also met with Balabac Mayor Shuaib Astami to discuss other issues surrounding the construction, where the mayor assured him that everything has been taken care of. Security analyst Ewan Graham of the Australian Strategic Policy Institute think tank spoke with 9news.com.au about what 2024 holds for geopolitics in the Asia-Pacific. Graham says the incidents are a sobering reminder for the Australian government as it strives to stabilize Canberra-Beijing relations. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese visited China in November 2023 to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in what was described as a diplomatic breakthrough. There has also been an easing of Chinese trade sanctions on Australian exports throughout this year. The South China Sea incidents call into question the narrative about stabilization in relations with China. I'm very skeptical given what we have seen unfolding in the East China Sea, across the Taiwan Sea, and especially in the South China Sea, given what's happened with the Philippines over the last few months. It leaves the Australian government to thread the needle between the economic and strategic priorities in its relations with China, says Graham. But growing assertiveness by Beijing in the South China Sea means Australia will not be left untouched by US-Chinese competition in the region. Australia will try and trade with China for as long as it can, but that does not mean economic cooperation is the center of gravity in Australia-China relations. The warnings of all these incidents show that geopolitically, under the current leadership in China, it's about geopolitical competition. And that's going to fundamentally unravel any attempts to stabilize relations, whatever the intentions from Canberra.